everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed your dinner. It was absolutely delicious. And let's take a moment and give our wait staff, show them some love. Show them some love because they have been extremely attentive, and I don't think anyone's ever had to raise their hand, get their attention to refill a glass. They've been right there on the spot. Very, very attentive, and that is such a nice thing to experience when you come to an affair like this. Well, I'm going to start just by reintroducing myself. I'm Catherine Mobley. I am the Senior Video Producer for the Marketing and Communications Department for the City of Winston-Salem. And I am just ecstatic to be your mistress of ceremony for tonight's event. We are all here to recognize some absolutely dynamic women. Oh, but before I begin, please turn off your cell phones or put them on vibrate. Everyone check. Sometimes we just throw them in our purses and we forget about it. But we're going to have an opportunity to hear from some really awesome women, and I want to make sure they have their moment. They are builders. They're rebels. They're healers. They're risk takers. They are our outstanding women leaders. Charismatic individuals who understand the value of social investments and creative partnerships and realize how these things help to promote Winston-Salem's economic growth by building up her greatest assets, her people, each one of us. One such individual is the founder of this program, Mayor Pro Tem and Council Member Vivian H. Burke. Under her guidance since 2003, this program has shown a spotlight on 150 amazing women who have boldly harnessed their energies, their resources, and sometimes even wrangled strangers in order to break glass ceilings and positively impact the lives in our city. And isn't that an amazing thing to have? What a treasure. Thank you. It is no easy task to identify these individuals. Winston-Salem is blessed to have a wealth of remarkable women. Tonight, we are going to honor 10. They were tapped by this year's selection committee. Chair Dana Suggs, Vice Chair Deborah Gunter, Nan Griswold, Naomi Jones, and Carrie Collins. And this group works with an amazing support staff. Carrie is going to share an update on several OWL accomplishments over the past year. Then Nan will talk about a new OWL initiative. Carrie?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Catherine. It's amazing that it's been 15 years since the vision of Ms. Burke came to life. And for the first 14, I think it's about 13 or 14 years of this, our Outstanding Women Leaders program has really seen a big change. We've gone from a small city-staffed committee to a city council-established citizens committee, thanks to the vision of Councilmember Vivian H. Burke. She's charged us to meet regularly. Can you hear me? Okay. She's charged us to meet regularly to grow the effort, make it a sustainable effort, and to breathe new life into the program. With guidance from Councilmember Burke, we went from honoring the recipients once a year to focusing on quarterly recognition at the city council meetings, giving each honoree a framed resolution, and keeping outstanding women's leaders in the forefront of our community for a full year. We've also put into motion an effort to recognize high school female students as outstanding future women's leaders with a scholarship opportunity. My fellow committee member, Nan Griswold, is going to speak to that in just a minute. The committee is also working to attract corporate sponsors. This will help defray the expenses the city incurs for this program, As you can see in this evening's program, we have listed a number of sponsorship levels, and we will certainly accept any contribution at any level. If you have a company that would be interested in honoring women and their accomplishments, please contact Carolyn, and her information is below. Thank you all for being such visionaries and leaders in our community, and I'm going to turn it over to Nan for her to talk a little bit about our scholarship.
Good evening. I want to thank Councilman Burke for all her work she's done through the years and for selecting me to be on this committee. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to talk about a new initiative that is for the first time this year that the committee wants to honor Councilman Burke with. The OWL Program Committee will award $500 Future Outstanding Woman Leader Scholarship to an outstanding female high school senior from the Winston-Salem Forsyth County system. The Future Outstanding Woman Leader Scholarship was established to honor Mayor Pro Tem and Northeast Ward Council Member Vivian H. Burke. It's an honor for her 40 years of service to the City Council of Winston-Salem and the founder, yes. And the founder of the Outstanding Women Leaders Award in 2003. Scholarships will be awarded to students who demonstrate outstanding performance in academics, leadership, integrity, school service, community involvement, and who show compassion towards others in their daily lives. Scholarships may be used for the cost of undergraduate tuition, fees, room and board, and other college expenses. Each year, the committee will award one student, our first recipient at the 2019 Outstanding Women Leaders Program. The city's website has that information about the scholarship, as well as an interest form for those interested in applying. To access this information, you go to the city website, cityofwinston-salem.org/OWL scholarship. The program has the web address as well. Letters went out to all previously recognized outstanding women leaders in February, announcing this new endeavor and requesting donations to fund the scholarship. Thank you to all those who have donated. To date, we have raised $2,075. We are still accepting donations, as in we will even take donations tonight. Thank you.
In 1917, President Woodrow Wilson broke off diplomatic relations with Germany and ultimately launched the United States into World War I. In that same year, the National Women's Party began a 2.5-year protest outside of the White House. They were demanding the right to vote, and they were known as the Silent Sentinels. And in October of that same year, another person who would shake things up and impact the lives of many entered the world. She was born in Advance, North Carolina, and eventually she grew up to be Dr. Virginia K. Newell. She lived under Jim Crow laws. In elementary school, she had to walk 5 miles to school because the school buses did not transport African American children. She was one of 9 children. She was the baby of the family. And she endured a Southern society that whispered the lie, "You are less than because of the color of your skin." But she didn't believe it. She watched her father go to the polls and vote. And quickly, she learned the power of how voting could change things. And these experiences lit a fire to her passion to become a politician. 60 years later, she got her chance. Dr. Newell was elected to represent the East Ward on Winston-Salem's Board of Aldermen, what we now call the City Council. In the city's history, she was the first of 2 African-American women elected to this governing body. In a recent interview, she said, "Going into office is great, just as long as you remember the people." And she did. Serving for 16 years, Dr. Newell advocated on behalf of Winston-Salem's minorities and other vulnerable populations regarding fair housing, educational equality, and economic justice. She pushed for the construction of the East Winston Shopping Center so people who looked like her could easily, conveniently buy a loaf of bread at the grocery store, go to the bank and handle their business, and take advantage of other services. She is credited with establishing the YWCA's Best Choice Center as a nurturing refuge and educational support for at-risk youth. And she led Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority's efforts in the development of Ivory Arms Apartment and Community Center. When the project came up, nobody wanted to fund it. You think that to deter Dr. Newell? She just kept on talking, sharing her vision of possibilities, and the money came. And always, all the while, she continues to march, protest, and mobilize as a civil rights advocate, urging people to spark change by voting. Dr. Newell's social advocacy has also led her into classrooms. She loves mathematics. She will talk to you for hours and hours about math and formulas. In fact, she says it is bred in her DNA. Because she says, you can always be sure you're right, because you can prove it. And she has spent her life teaching that principle in so many different places, in so many different schools. At the Yale Summer High School in Connecticut, as well as in schools in Atlanta, Raleigh, and right here in this city at Winston-Salem State University. Dr. Newell also chaired WSSU's Math Computer Science Department, and during her tenure, she established the first generic computer lab for computer science students. In 1986, a year after her retirement, the university honored her by dedicating and renaming the facility the Virginia K. Newell Academic Computer Center. She has received the key to the city of Winston-Salem and also the Order of the Longleaf Pine, one of the highest civilian honors in our state. It is awarded by the governor in recognition of an individual's exemplary service, not only in their community, but across the entire state. However, if you talk with Dr. Newell, she'll say her greatest accomplishments are her daughters, Dr. Glenda Newell Harris and Dr. Virginia D. Banks, and the life she built with her husband, George Fisher Newell. They enjoyed 43 years until his death. Last year, October 7th, Dr. Newell celebrated her 100th birthday. Doesn't she look amazing? I think it's because of her fiery wit and her fabulous fashion. Most of her life has been and continues to be driven by a genuine desire to serve others. I think that's also given her longevity. She encourages, she challenges, she inspires each one of us to disrupt the norm, step out on faith, and embrace the power of change. Please stand and join me as we recognize the 2018 Outstanding Women Leaders Honorary Chair, Dr. Virginia K. Newell.
Thank you all. It is an honor for me to stand here beside Virginia K. Newell. When we both were elected, we traveled around the country. And I want to tell you, whichever state or city we went to, the people knew us. We always left an impression that we were progressive, forward, women for change. And Mrs. Newell, Dr. Newell, I want you to know that the city of Winston-Salem is so fortunate to have you living in our city. And now I want you to say something.
Alderman Burke and members here, I want to give credit to my sister Alderman and Mayor Pro Tem, and to the Council of Winston-Salem. I understand that along with Mrs. Burke, you're responsible for this function. And I appreciate the fact that, thank you. I appreciate the fact that you have honored me a lot, and I think people are about to get tired of it. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm proud of my city. I'm proud of the council. I'm proud of Winston-Salem. I think that there is, and I was so glad to read in the paper, where we are now, instead of losing people, we're gaining them. And I hope that they're going to be people who are going to be of our like minds and who can help us bring back the moral compass. I hope we won't lose that. And I want to commend the particular of the council for not having any scandals, for doing what they're supposed to do, and not to forget the golden rule. And when I was there for the 16 years, I think I said once before that all of our lights were green. I don't think we were hindered from doing anything that was for the betterment of Winston-Salem and its citizens. So I want to congratulate all of you for coming, taking the time out of your busy schedules. And again, I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem, Mrs. Burke, for seeing that I was not the last one. She said, you wait until I honor VK. And you have. Thank you so much, Mrs. Burke. And I want to recognize her son. Thank you. Little Todd, she used to send me, I have to call him that. She used to send little Todd to me. And I found out that he was already brilliant. I said, Mrs. Burke, he's already brilliant. You don't have to send him. I don't need to give him anything. She said, well, VK, if you will take time with him, I will send him anyway. So I want to congratulate Mr. Burke for being here and all of the other officers and other people who are in public office and those who are running. I want to congratulate them. And I think I have part of my family here. I have my daughter, Glenda, and her husband, Bob. You want to stand, Bob? And I have my in-law, Dr. Branch, Mrs. Branch. Are you here? All right. And I think I have another guest, Miss Lydia Stuckey. Did you get here, Lydia? Did Mrs. Clay, Mr. and Mrs. Clay, did they get here? Well, anyway, thanks for all who came to recognize that this is something that is special to me. Thank you so much.
We are very fortunate this evening to have several elected officials with us. Councilman Larson, please stand. Councilman Bessie. Are there any other elected officials here with us this evening? Yes. And of course, Councilmember Vivian Burke. Thank you. Okay. Tonight we have 10 exceptional honorees. Each will receive a certificate and a custom-designed owl pen. There's a sample of the pen on each table tent, if you want to take a moment to look at it. So the table tents that have the numbers for the table, those are custom-designed by our graphic designer, Allison Smith, and our marketing and communications department, along with Sue Spainauer. They worked on that and with the entire committee for this program, and they poured hours and hours into designing it, and it really is very, very special. We're going to begin with Mildred Hash. By many, she was affectionately called Mother Hash. Together with her husband, Bishop Reuben Kelby Hash, they established St. Peter's World Outreach Center. Led by a divine spirit, Mother Hash spearheaded initiatives to help those who were struggling in poverty. And until her death last year, she worked tirelessly. Accepting the gifts in Mother Hash's honor is her granddaughter, Mia Sloan. Please come. Thank you.
Good evening. God radically used the life of our grandmother, Mother Mildred Hash, to do things that women in her dispensation were not permitted to do. But she transcended all the odds and broke and shattered ceilings, barriers and walls to do what God called her to radically do. The life of our grandmother showed us that it will not be easy, but it is well worth it. Our grandmother believed she could, so she did, and we hope that you do the same. We thank you and blessings from the Hash family. Thank you.
Our next honoree is Leslie Alexander. She is principal at R.J. Reynolds High School, and she is also the 2017 Principal of the Year for the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School System. Leslie.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here with you this evening. I have to share with you this has been a big day for me. About 4 hours ago, I was in Boone, North Carolina, defending my dissertation successfully. Thank you very much. It's been a long process, a very long process. I'm thankful for getting to be principal at Reynolds High School. I love what I do. I'm very thankful for it. Every day and every year is a new challenge. This year was a new challenge for me because our youngest daughter is a freshman there this year at Reynolds. Yeah. And about a month after school started, she says, "Mama, you know what?" I said, "What, sweetie?" She said, "Not everybody likes you." I said, "Well, that's okay. That's all right." I speak to that, though, because my dissertation topic was on gender scripts for women leaders, and people expect us to be certain ways as women leaders. They expect us to be nurturing and collaborative and kind, and we are those things. But the women leaders in this room also know that you can't be all those things all the time when you got to get a job done. And so when that happens, not everybody likes you. But that's okay. You have to have a thick skin, and you have to be passionate and feel called to do what you do. And so I'm thankful for the opportunity that I've had to serve, and I'm thankful for this award this evening. Thank you.
Emma Allen. She's a State Farm insurance agent. Throughout the community, she uses her business prowess to support and encourage other minority entrepreneurs. Emma.
Thank you. Recognizing that I'm after dessert, I'll be brief. I'm so grateful to Mayor Pro Tem Burke for her amazing vision. I will tell you that we are celebrating our 5th year in Winston-Salem now, and from the time we first arrived, Mayor Pro Tem has done nothing but open her big heart and be generous in terms of being counsel to me, so thank you so much for that. At Emma Allen State Farm, our biggest mission really is to provide a platform for young people to come into our organization to learn about the insurance industry and to really to launch their dreams and to be all that they can be. So we're grateful to the Winston-Salem community for allowing us the platform to be able to provide that for young people. Thank you so much.
And if our honorees can come and stay, as you're called, just come and stay. If you could stay off to the side, we do want to allow photographs with our honoree chair. So once you have your photograph, you can just come over to the side here, and then we'll recognize everyone together. Thank you. You can lean against the stage. It's stable. I promise. Our next honoree is Dr. Allison Brashear, professor and chair of the Department of Neurology at Wake Forest University School of Medicine. Her research has gained her international recognition regarding rapid onset dystonia Parkinsonism. Allison.
Thank you so much. I want to dwell on 2 themes I heard. One was the golden rule from Dr. Newell, and one was about change. And so one thing I'd like to suggest today is that change for women comes around from relationships. So I'd like everybody to reflect on a woman or a man who helped you in your life, and then to make a promise to yourself that you're going to be a sponsor for someone else, that we all will pay it forward and we will champion another woman to find her place as a leader. So Winston-Salem has been so welcoming to our family, and I've been so pleased to be able to meet so many young women, leaders, students, physicians, nurses, staff, and I champion all of you to figure out how we can sponsor more women leaders in our community. Thank you so much.
Lynn Brenner Eisenberg, community volunteer, and she is one of the founders of the Women's Fund that unites women in their financial support of specific community projects. Lynn?
I hope you don't mind. I got a little carried away having the opportunity to talk about my family and the Women's Fund. I certainly appreciate receiving recognition from such an esteemed group of women leaders and want to thank you for allowing me a moment to share information about my family who inspired my entire generation and our children. My paternal grandparents, Jenny and Frank Brenner, moved to Winston-Salem in 1921. Thank you. My grandfather was an immigrant peddler who sold rags off of a cart and later started selling scrap metal. My grandmother was a great influence on their sons and taught them lessons about philanthropy. During the Depression, she had these small boxes in her kitchen, each with for a specific charity, and she regularly placed coins in them to help those less fortunate. Grandma Jenny taught her 3 sons and their families to never neglect people, especially those in need. As the eldest, my father and one of his brothers took over the family business as teenagers. They mentored their much younger brother, who later in life joined them in building not only several businesses, but a true sense of respect for others. Once the brothers began to achieve some success in their business life, they wanted to share their good fortune with their community. In the 1950s, they provided funds to purchase a television set for the pediatric ward at Baptist Hospital. Almost 3 decades later, with the desire to honor the legacy of my father, who passed away in 1978, my uncles established the first center for adolescent medicine in North Carolina. A few years later, the Brenner family became supporters of a dream that would become Brenner Children's Hospital. The brothers often said that they were grateful to give back to a city that had been good to them by allowing them to work and prosper. As a family, we understood that we could all make a difference by becoming involved in our community. As a young woman, I discovered the desire and motivation to find ways to become actively involved. It is remarkable to note that our great community offers opportunities to lead by engagement and a sense of responsibility for one another. I am so grateful to the many women in Winston-Salem who raised the bar for what is possible. Understanding that community builds community, we began as 5 women with a vision for what we could accomplish through growth, involvement, and empowerment. We soon became 1,000 strong and very dedicated women who were determined that together we would find solutions to improve the lives of women and girls in our community. 13 years later, the Women's Fund continues to create positive change as well as develop powerful leaders for our future. My husband, Barry, my sister and brother-in-law, Susie and Arthur Kurtz, and cousin Mindy Bloom are here with us tonight. They are on the same journey as I am. And as our parents stated so well, we are grateful to be able to give back to our city that has been so good to us. Thank you.
Our next honoree is Martha Fleer. As a former dean of continuing studies, she has effectively created educational bridges for adults at Salem College. The school has honored her by creating the Martha H. Fleer Center for Adult Education, where women and men 23 years and older can complete their college education. Martha.
Thank you, Winston-Salem. Thank you, Vivian Burke, for all that you have done, all that you are doing now, and I'm optimistic that you will be doing it for a long time. And then there's Virginia Newell, who's one of a kind. There are not enough words to say what she has contributed to this society. And I'm so grateful to be in the presence of these wonderful people and appreciate the honor so much. Over 50 years ago, my husband and a baby John came to Winston-Salem to make it our home. Honestly, we didn't know very much, if anything, about it, but it has been the best possible home. we have grown, we have hopefully given, and we have received so much from this community. My husband spent his career at Wake Forest teaching. All three of our children went through the Winston-Salem public schools, and I had the joy and privilege of working at Salem College. My goal was to create a program that adult women, and eventually men too, joined the program, could get the same kind of education and degree that the traditional age student was already entitled to do. And it was because of those women students who are sitting at my table tonight, because of them, I was able to achieve this goal. And for that, I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Addie Himes. She also focused her talents on education, helping students discover their passion, figuring out strategies that would help them become successful, and encouraging them to shoot for the stars. Addie.
Good evening. I would certainly like to thank all of the committee members and all of the persons who were involved in my being selected to be a recipient of this award this evening. I do thank you. But as many of you know, that any time an organization or a program is successful, it is seldom due because of one individual. So this evening, on behalf of the over 500 students and their parents and the staff members who worked with them Monday through Friday, and to all of the businesses who assisted us in working with these young people, I stand this evening on their shoulders, and I am accepting this award on their behalf. I would like to share just one story with the businesses. We always had a waiting list each year. One year, the waiting list almost doubled. Several of the business leaders were made aware of this, and 4 of them decided that they would come together, get their funding together, and they funded 25 of those waiting list students each year that they participated in the program. So on behalf of all of the above mentioned, I want to thank you on their behalf.
Our next honoree, Marlene Kosterka. She is the first division chief, the first female division chief for the City of Winston-Salem Fire Department. She oversees the daily operations of 108 firefighters. That's pretty impressive. Talk about wrangling, okay? She is helping the department also to better identify hazardous risk factors in our community and develops safety education programs for our residents. Marlene.
They know I do not like giving speeches, so she had to build that up just a little bit, just a tiny bit. I started the career about 14 years ago, and I just wanted to be one of the guys. I wanted to be a firefighter, one of the guys fighting fire constantly, running in and out, serving our community and being part of that realm of heroism or toughness. As I've climbed the ranks and I've become higher up in this position and within the department, I've realized that I don't want to be one of the guys, I want to be me. And me is not one of the guys. It is going to work every day and trying to create a culture of change and trying to create a vision for young women who want to come into the service and want to serve the community. I love my job. I love the opportunities I get from my job. I love being able to be a role model for the young women out there, and also, you know, just kids in general. I have been blessed in my job of climbing the rank very fast, which is sometimes good, sometimes not good. But I do believe that it's all about giving back, and it's all about giving to the community that we serve. And I take a lot of pride in being able to do that. So I'm humbled to be able to stand up here among everybody, and I'm thankful for this award.
Marcelette Orange. Through her leadership, urban YMCAs became more stable, and they secured sustainable resources. As a result, it uplifted many in the surrounding communities. Marcelette.
Good evening. It is an honor to be here tonight, and I'd like to thank the committee for this honor, and most of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Pro Tem Burke. She's always been a supporter. She's always been there. Whenever something was going on that I was involved in, she was there. At my church, I volunteer to coordinate an outreach event every summer. The first few years it rained, Ms. Burke was there. This is an outdoor event. She was there. And she's shown her support for that community. We are in her community, and she's always been there. So I want to thank her for that support. This outreach event is one where we educate parents on what they need to do to be informed about their children in school. We send children back, over 500 children every year. We'll do our 7th year this July. But we send over 500 children back to school with everything they need on the school supply list, including a book bag. And we want to give back to the community. And by doing that, we are building community and building capacity within families. You heard about my Y experience. I was with the Y for 24 years. I'm retired. And I worked in Ys across the United States. I was here for 7 years, left and went to Cincinnati, where I supervised 12 Ys, $16 million budget, and very successful in turning around some of those Ys. But my most important accomplishment is with my family. I've been able to raise 2 beautiful daughters who are accomplishing their goals. Attorney Shanice Orange and Assistant Principal Brittany Orange. And in addition to that, I have 2 beautiful granddaughters. And they will be the next women leaders. We're putting that in their minds, in their hearts today. They're 12 and 10 years old. And I thank God that they were able to be here tonight to see the women that are up here being recognized. And I thank you for the opportunity. And to all the women that were honored tonight or have been honored in the past, congratulations and thank you for all that you do.
Pam Peoples-Joyner, Community Relations Specialist with the Winston-Salem Police Department. She is sensitive to how social misperceptions have created dangerous divisions between our city's African-American boys and youth and our city's police officers. So what she does is she uses her talents to create outreach programs focused on bridging these gaps and fostering understanding. Pam?
It is an honor and a privilege to receive this award tonight. As with any great honor, I didn't achieve this alone. It is by the efforts and confidence of trailblazers such as Mayor Pro Tem Vivian H. Burke and Mrs. Dolores Huntley. Why I'm here tonight. In my career, I've always been a voice for the voiceless, and I will continue to be a voice for the voiceless. In the words of Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That's how I want my life and legacy to be. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Outstanding Women Leaders. Now, a couple of other thank yous. A warm thank you to Embassy Suites, Grant Minix, to our very attentive wait staff. Delicious dinner, wonderful space. Thank you so much for pampering us. And now I'd like to welcome Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Vivian Burke to make a few more remarks.
Thank you. I should ask if there is a doctor in the house. My neck has been so crooked. I can't hardly turn it around. This morning, I promised the mayor that I would be with him. We recognized 4 women in the arts, and it was a beautiful service. It was cold out there. And then I had to go home. My friend Neoma Jones stayed with me throughout our going and coming. I went by Mr. Conrad, and I said, oh, my shoulders and my neck. So he got 2 of these massages and massaged my neck. And he gave me one to take home. And the lady who assists me when she comes this evening, she's going to have to, I'm telling you, I'm bad off. But I want to say to all of you and to all of the women, those who've been recognized before and those who are recognized this evening, how blessed we are, our city. And to the women, I said to my friend Zane Baker, we were having lunch, I said, now we're going to look forward to this great celebration. And it has been great, hasn't it? You probably wonder where our city manager is. They're having a capital needs program. They had it at Carl Russell with my ward, then the North Ward, Haynes Hosiery. But I want you to know we do have one of the top people here this evening, one of our assistant city managers, Assistant City Manager Logan Ford. Stand so they can see you. Thank you. And I can't do without Corrine Smith, who serves as the city's manager's administrative person. And to the committee, what you have done, we appreciate you. To the Committee of Women, the first official Outstanding Women Leaders Committee for the City of Winston-Salem, we appreciate you. I had someone to get some information on what are the other people doing as far as recognizing women. We're far ahead. And I want you to know that in being far ahead, the resources we bring together to this city, we make a tremendous difference. I want my son to be able to go home. We didn't recognize his wife. His wife is here. And she is a candidate for school board. So you have to love your family. You have to respect your family. And I thank you. But I want to say to Dr. Newell, we sincerely appreciate you. One day, people couldn't find Dr. Newell. And they called me, they said, where is Dr. Newell? I said, I don't know everything. But we found Dr. Newell. You remember? You went on over there, over at Baptist, I think. And she was doing fine. And then the police department called and said, Dr. Newell is fine. And we want to tell you, as a citizen in this city and as a role model for so many, we are blessed to be in your company. We are blessed, Dr. Noor. I know some of us have to go to work in the morning, so I'm not going to talk too long. I just want to say, may God bless all of us, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Just one more quick thing. There are, as Catherine had mentioned, there were 150 women that have received this award in the past. If you are a past award winner, if you could please stand, because we would love to just see how many of you there are in the crowd. And on behalf of all of the outstanding women leaders that are in the audience, as well as the committee, we just have a really small gift of our token of our appreciation for Councilmember Burke and for all that she has done. So Ms. Jones has this for you, Councilmember Burke.
All right, Councilwoman Vivian H. Burke, my good friend, we, the committee, loved you so much that we decided that we were going to give you a gift. You've been giving everybody else a gift. So this time we would give you a gift, and we hope that you like the gift very much. And you want to look at it? Karen wants you to look at it. That's why we're giving. We want you to let everybody see it. That's an hour. Oh. Okay.
Well, thank you everyone for being a part of our Outstanding Women Leaders Reception, fondly known as OWLs, for warmly welcoming and showing appreciation to all of our OWLs present and from past years. Have a wonderful evening. You've been a wonderful audience. Please drive safely. Turn on your cell phones just in case you need to call those young people to say, hey, we're coming home. You know, to give them a few minutes to clean up after that party they weren't supposed to have. They were supposed to be studying, right? Have a very good evening. On behalf of the City of Winston-Salem, I'm Catherine Mobley. Thank you.